What's up, guys? Doctor Who here. Welcome back to another patron-specific Q&A. This time, we're going to be going over how to fix nerve neck, our thoughts on the massage gun, and nerve flossing. I also want to ask that you guys now subscribe, turn on notifications, because it will help us grow, and we want to be able to help you guys more so you guys can play more and hurt less. I'm going to be joined today with Dr. Jonathan Chung, one of our new medical professionals on the 1HP staff. So let's get into it. Thanks everyone for joining today. This is Patreon Q&A, the 14th episode. And in this episode, we're going to be answering questions about nerve neck, massage guns, and nerve flossing. And for everyone that doesn't know, we have monthly Q&As for our patrons where we answer any questions that they might have about wellness, health, injury management, and performance. So they leave those messages in our Discord and we answer them live on a stream like this one. And we have three major questions today that we want to go over first, and then we're going to leave some time at the very end so that we can answer your questions if you guys are in chat, or if there's no one, then this is just going to be a video on the side. So our very first question that we got from a patron of ours was, how fix nerve neck?
It's a good question. So when we think of nerd neck, I like to think of it as capacity and demand. What are you asking of your neck and that's the demand side of it. Capacity is what your neck can handle. And what can often happen is something called upper cross syndrome, which Matt has a beautiful diagram over here. And what happens is some muscles get weak and tight, and then some muscles get weak and lengthened. So what happens is those pecs, those muscles that help you round your shoulders get very tight and weak, which is on that A angle, and then the muscles along the B line get weak and lengthened. So those are the deep neck flexors, the upper back erectors. All those muscles get weak, and you got to strengthen them up. So you can look at a lot of the different names, but the big picture we're looking at here is we want to lengthen the tight muscles, and we want to shorten up and strengthen the longer ones. And what that does is it brings you back to a more neutral posture, which just puts less stress on the system and helps you feel better and play better. We're going to get into some of the exercises in a little bit, but this just reiterates the point that how you hold yourself during your day-to-day is really, really important. If you have good posture, that means your muscles are at that optimal length-tension relationship where they can be stronger, they can be more they can have more endurance, and they can perform that the way that they should. If you're like this all the time, it's going to add extra pressure and make your life a little bit harder. Whereas if you're nice and upright, have your shoulders tucked down, you're in a better position to game, and you're in a better position to move.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to add, Doctor Wu?
Yeah. I mean, I think you covered it pretty perfectly. We can just quickly sum up what you said. But nerve neck is this, right? Nerve neck is when your head is forward. When you're too close to the screen, your posture becomes like this, and naturally, what happens is your body will adapt to that. Right? Yeah. As he said, there's going to be muscles that are going to be in a shortened position. Hey, naturally, when your head comes forward, there's things that happen to the length and the activation or ability of the muscles to move. So, like you said, there's a diagonal that's tight, there's a diagonal that's weak. And what we do is we want to address those issues. And then on top of that, what you said that was very important too was that, hey, we need to also address just the actual posture that you're sitting in or playing on a regular basis, because if we don't address that and we just go ahead and we can strengthen the deep neck flexor muscles, we can strengthen the mid and low trap, the serratus, we can do the pec stretches, we can do those all day. But if you go ahead and just pop back into this forward head position, guess what? That's gonna cause the same impairments, those same issues, and it will just be cyclical, right? Which is why a lot of the times you see online, we just say, hey, we gotta do these exercises to fix nerve neck, to fix rounded shoulder, to fix whatever issue, but it's always the bigger picture that we have to consider. Exercises will help. There's no doubt about that, right? We understand what changes that happen in our body that we have to actually address with exercises. But number two, there's something that caused it in the first place, and that's how you sit. So remember, you want to bring your chest up and tuck your chin. And the goal isn't to always sit like this 24/7 and have to think about it all the time. We can leverage behavioral science. We can leverage some anchors in our day. Every time we walk through a doorway, every single time we want to drink water, like right now, then I quickly check 5 seconds, chest up, chin tuck. Or every time you see the results screen of League of Legends or Valorant or whatever game that you're playing, you can create a rule for yourself. So over time, you move from here to here or here to here. Right. So what are some of the exercises that you would recommend? Because we know there's pec stiffness. Why don't you just tell us what exercises you'd recommend?
I really like using the wall angel quite a bit. It's an easy one where you're up against the wall and we have our lovely assistant here.
Okay, wait.
Yep.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Wait for it. Bam.
Elliot.
There it is. Look at that production value. So key things here is you want to think about 3 points on the wall. The back of your head, your shoulders, and your tailbone, your bum. You want all those to be against the wall. And then bring your elbows and your wrists, into your entire hand if possible, against the wall. And as you can see with Elliot, he's going all the way down and all the way back up. For some of you, this might be challenging, and that's okay. All right? Everybody starts where they are. You don't want to force yourself and hate it. You want to feel like you're feeling better afterwards. And then look at our new co-star.
It's me. It's me and me. Doing
yeah.
it. Hold on me.
Exactly.
Let me follow myself. Boom.
Showing us how it's done. So key things here, you want to lead with your shoulder blades. You want to really reach to the sky as high as you can. But if you're cheating and your hands are coming off the wall, you want to reset and work with what you have. You're going to eventually get to the Dr. Wu at the Matt level, the Elliot level, but it may not be the first day. You got to make small changes, and that's how you come up with big differences down the line.
Any other
It also
exercise?
helps. I also really like the Serratus Push-Ups. We call them Push-Up Plus as well. You can see Elliot performing those right now. Key things here is you want to lock out your arms on the wall, and what you're thinking about is actually moving your rib cage back and forth. So you should feel your shoulder blades move along your rib cages as you're doing this. I like to think about pushing my armpits forward when I do this. So I bring my armpits down and then push my armpits towards the wall, and that really isolates the serratus interior and strengthening that entire complex. If you want to make it a little bit harder, I think Elliot goes into a little bit more of a difficult variation in a second, where you actually use a towel on the wall, and his elbows are along the wall, and he actually slides them up. That also strengthens the serratus, but it just gives you another plane of movement, which is another layer of complexity and challenge.
Right. So
and
here
if you really want to make it hard,
he's about to do it right now.
Oh, yep, here it is. Oh, he's actually using a shirt. Even better, even easier.
Using a 1 HP shirt.
Yeah, it actually works much better if you use our merch.
Right.
You get 10% more serratus activation.
Exactly. MBIC test, right? Boom.
Immediate. So see how he's not overly bending and thrusting his chest out. It's coming from the shoulders and from his shoulder blades. That's what you should take away from here. And he's going slow. He's not rushing it. And he's coming back down to below shoulder height with his elbows and then pushing up within range. You can also do this with a foam roller if you have one of those lying around, and that actually lets you almost scoop out into a nice big Y, which I like as well. Mm-hmm. It's just another way to, whatever works for you, as long as you're feeling it deep in your armpit and your neck feels loose and not like it's getting tight, then you're doing it right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for the foam roller one, I'll take a step back. It looks kind of like this. Yeah, just like that. Like when someone calls a touchdown in traditional sports.
Goal!
It's actually touchdown, but okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I like those a lot. And then I think where we have one more, I also love doing the resisted deep neck flexors. So for this one, Matt's going to demonstrate. So you grab a TheraBand, you put it right around the back of your head where your hair, not your hairband, if you will, or hairband, but also a hat right at that level, and then you tuck your chin in and drive your head back. You should feel a nice activation in the back of your neck into your traps and between your shoulder blades. And you basically just give yourself a double chin. It's pretty simple, but it makes a big difference. You can see that Matt's adjusting the tension, so he's a little advanced, so his arms are all the way out. You don't have to do it all that. You don't have to give all that resistance, but whatever you feel comfortable with. How many reps would you really recommend? I usually aim for, when I'm trying to modify motor patterns, higher, so 15 to 20 if they can.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it depends on everyone's individual endurance. So,
yeah.
For you, or for most people that are maybe watching this and you're maybe doing this for the first time, just try 10 to 12 repetitions. You can hold it for 2 to 3 seconds at the end of every exercise, focusing on squeezing the deeper neck muscles here. It's not so much just the nod, it's sort of this translation back as John was describing.
Exactly.
But yeah, those are definitely 3 really good exercises that you guys can start with. We also have a bunch of other exercises on our YouTube. We have a posture routine. There's also this headache. Let me just actually pull it up for us. Oh, okay. So there's this. So I have an article about headaches for gamers. And I have in those a lot of exercises that actually also help with strengthening the deep neck muscles. So one of them being, what I call wall posture with deep neck flexion, and you're just against the wall and you're tucking your chin and holding that. And then the other one is you're also on your hands and your knees, and then you're tucking your chin and rotating your head. I'll just link all of these in the description, or link all of these in the chat. So if you guys are interested, you guys can check it out. So this is 1. Yeah. This is number 2, Peter Pans. We have Peter Pans. And then the third one, we have the wall posture holds.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested, you guys can always check those out. And sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I really like the quadruped one because it lets you hit different parts of your neck too. Instead of just one plane, you're challenging it in different areas and different planes. It's a favorite of mine, and I use it a lot with a lot of patients actually.
Yeah, and they've shown more and more that it's not just the deep neck flexors; it's also the cervical extensors that you want to train in conjunction with the deep neck flexors that will allow you to not only reduce that forward head position, but also reduce things like headaches or reduce things like neck pain. But yeah, that I think sums up the first question. How fix nerd neck? That's how. You understand a little bit about what nerd neck is. You understand what things you have to address, and then you have to also change your posture more on a regular basis. The second question that we got was, what are your thoughts about the massage gun? So let me get mine. Oh, wait a second. It's already here. Boom. It's percussive vibration therapy, right? And what happens typically in gaming when we are using our muscles a lot with a repeated clicking and keyboard typing and moving and swiping the mouse is that the muscles actually get stiff. They become in this contracted state if it becomes overused and we push them a little too hard. And not only that, if we push them extra hard, there's maybe some micro tears and maybe some inflammation that develops, and that causes the blood vessels to constrict. We call that ischemia, and that prevents things like prevents certain molecules from, or what we call metabolites, from being flushed out of the area, and that prevents proper healing of the actual muscle. So a lot of the time what we want to do is do things like massage. We also can stretch the area to help with the contracted state and give a little more blood flow. But more recently, there's been obviously this movement towards using percussive and vibration therapy to address the same thing. And just I looked up some of the research, a recent meta-analysis looking into just massage as an intervention and how it impacts recovery. And in that study in 2016, or that meta-analysis, they found 5 studies that used automated massage, specifically using Theragun or hypervolts or percussive massage. And again, it's the same theory. They wanted to relax some of the muscles. They want to improve some of the blood flow so the metabolites can be flushed out so that it can promote better healing. But what they found, and it's only been 5 studies, was that there's no true positive correlation that shows that it helps or facilitates actual recovery. But something interesting that they found within that study was that compared to trained and untrained individuals or people that may not regularly exercise and have maybe been exposed to massage on a less frequent basis, they actually responded a little better in terms of pain, in terms of a subjective experience on how it feels, because there was the psychological component of, hey, we haven't really experienced this before. There's sort of this placebo and psychological effect that allowed them to report less pain or report less discomfort, even though the actual physiology didn't show. There was no reduction when they compared vibration therapy and regular therapy or even other modalities, that there was a reduction of those metabolites. There was a reduction of the C-reactive protein, creatine kinase, and blood lactate levels. Those weren't reduced comparing the different modalities. So those were still the same. So they were more confidently able to say that, hey, it's this placebo or psychological component in untrained individuals that's allowing them to get this benefit from massage guns. In general, for me, just outside of the research, I think, yeah, it can definitely be helpful for us to temporarily provide some relief to address some of the underlying stiffness that might occur after gaming. But I would say it's just a method for short-term relief, not long-term relief. If you want to truly get rid of some of those sensations, the achiness, the discomfort, the cramping, things that happen when we play a little too much, you need to think about addressing the underlying cause, which is most of the time our muscles and our tendons don't have the actual capacity to handle the 8, the 10, the 12 hours of repeated gaming for 3 to 4 days in a row, leading to our muscles getting weaker and then our muscles tightening up, cramping, because, hey, it's trying to tell you that you should probably not utilize it in the way that you have been anymore. So I would just say in general, for me, the massage gun is nice. It's a nice supplement to any regular conditioning and sort of stretching routine that I feel is essential for most gamers. Any other thoughts on your end, John?
I like to think of massage gun or most passive modalities as a way to attenuate pain, but it should be an adjunct. So it's something that you use to control pain, and then you do the work of, I'm going to do some more strength and conditioning to really change things in the long term. Mm-hmm. I don't think that it's really it's not a long-term solution, like you said. It's a short-term kind of band-aid. You'll feel better for a little bit, but if you really want to invest your time and energy into something that's going to give you the best returns, it may not be your ideal choice.
Right.
Yeah. They do feel nice. I will give them that for sure.
They do. They feel very nice.
Yeah.
Joining in now. But the last question that we got was actually a question that I got recently on a post that I made on Reddit. They asked me what I think about nerve glides. And just to provide you guys some background, typically when someone asks me about nerve glides, they might have been told by someone or a professional that they have some nerve irritation, or they're feeling some tingling or numbness somewhere along their upper body or their arm or hand, and they've looked up on Dr. Google and said, hey, maybe these nerve glides can be helpful for you. What nerve glides are is it's a set of exercises that allow the nerve to travel more smoothly through its tunnel as it courses down your arm. And I'm just going to show you guys a little picture here, but there's a lot of nerves, right? And a lot of potential sites where the nerve can get stuck. whether it be at our spine here, or our neck and our scalenes, or underneath our pec, underneath our first rib. It can be underneath our bicep, our cubital tunnel. There's so many possible sites where it can get irritated. And when it is compressed, sometimes there's improper healing and some tissues organized in a crisscross way like this that cause the nerve to become more irritated. And supposedly, or nerve glides have been shown to help release some of those restrictions in those cross fibers and allow them to be more aligned horizontally, and then again allow the nerve to travel more smoothly along this pathway. But I think the bigger picture is, hey, while they can be helpful to do that, and they have been shown to reduce some symptoms, again, it's a short-term or short-sighted exercise, because we want to be able to identify where's the nerve actually being compressed in the first place, right? As you can see in these, there's all these potential areas along the red dots, and there's a lot of nerves that travel from the neck all the way down to your hands. So you must be doing something that's causing those nerves to be irritated in the first place. And most of the time, it's how you are positioning yourself. Most of the time, it's actually coming from the neck and not, the carpal tunnel, or not sort of excessive pressure along certain parts of your elbow. At least in our experience working with quite a few gamers, most of the time it's coming from the neck. And if we change our posture, bring our chest up, our shoulders back, and our chin tucked, we actually allow a little more space for the nerves to travel. When we are in that rounded position, there's 3 sort of key sites where they can be trapped. Underneath our pec, when we round our shoulders, underneath our scalene, some of our neck muscles, and then underneath the first rib. And then as we open up all of those sites, like I said, they allow the nerve to travel a little more smoothly in its tunnel. So I think nerve flossing can always be helpful for temporary relief, but that doesn't address the cause. The cause, again, is poor posture, is poor positioning that leads to the nerve becoming compressed and irritated in the first place. So we have to address the posture first, and then we use the nerve glides to help reduce some of the symptoms. So for anyone that's watching, think of it like that. Think of, hey, we need to address the true cause, which is posture first, and then the nerve glides along the way. Anything to add, John?
I agree. Nerve glides can have some really awesome effects, but if you, like we were talking about before, if you don't address the posture that's causing the problem in the first place, you can address the source of the issue as much as you want, but it's never really going to resolve the way you want. You'll have to be doing nerve glides for the rest of your life, which, they feel good, but you want to be able to just play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think they have their place, but you have to know when to use them, just like anything else in our toolkits.
Yeah, and that pretty much wraps up our short Q&A this month. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and remember, if you have any questions on your own, you can always support us on Patreon. Check it out, www.patreon.com/1HP. And we also provide individualized coaching services there, as I've mentioned quite a few times, where you have access to us one time a week for a whole entire month to address any concerns you might have for your wellness or your performance. So check that out. We have a limited amount of spots. We might have 5 left. But check that out. And don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment below with any questions that you might have. And maybe we'll just get to those answers in another video. Thank you guys again. See you guys soon.